Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Tough Friends Collective podcast with me, your host, Chelsea Gomez, also known as Oh, You're So Tough. Welcome back if you're joining us for another episode. If you're new here, just a brief overview of what this podcast is. It's a authentic, real, candid conversation about cancer. And many of the topics and stories come directly from my Instagram page, which is called Oh, You're So Tough. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a minute since I've done an episode. I was traveling quite a bit. I had gone to Memphis to St. Jude's Country Cares event, and then I took my daughter to New Orleans for the Taylor Swift concert, which was really fun. But I am back and I'm recording a new episode, so thanks for being here. If you do like my podcast, shameless ask if you can rate it wherever you're listening or watching. Thumbs up, stars, however the rating system is, it really does help me out because it's just me doing this podcast on my own, so I truly do appreciate all the support. I was thinking about what we should talk about this week, and really the answer kind of came to me twofold. So recently I was asked how I felt about losing a cancer friend in an interview that I did, and then I made a couple pieces of art about it this week, and then I went into my archives and looked at things that you all have asked me to cover here, and one of them was navigating life after losing a cancer friend. And so I think that is a good topic for us this week. It's a tough topic, obviously, so take care of yourself first, and if you're not in the headspace to listen to this sort of discussion, please always put yourself first. But that's just a quick kind of like a trigger warning that we're going to be talking about loss and obviously Survivor's Guild and all of those things. And so take care of you first. If you saw my page this week, you will see the drawing that I did, and it said something to the effect of we need to normalize grieving not only for people who are your real life friends, we also need to normalize grieving for people that are your quote unquote online friends. And for people who are in the cancer community, we know very well how quickly you can become close with somebody in this community because you obviously get each other, you have shared experiences, and those people really become like a lifeline for you. And so when they pass, it can feel utterly devastating. And so I want to talk through those emotions and give you my own experiences, and then just talk through a couple comments and things that people have left on that post, and yeah, just talk through it all. So let's get into it. So if you've been following me for any length of time, you probably know about my friend Katie. She was my really close cancer friend, and she had a very similar sense of humor to me. And so we were just kind of like two crazy girls. And when she passed of lung cancer, and she was so young, and it was just kind of really fast, and it was really unexpected and devastating to me. I still remember I was, sorry, this is a little, this topic, I told you it's not going to be easy, but I was at a theme park with my family when I got the news that she passed away, and I just basically like collapsed on the ground and started bawling my eyes out. And yeah, I just remember it was like really crazy because it was raining so badly outside, and we were like huddled in like a gift shop, and then this text came through, and I just like fell on the ground at the gift shop sobbing. And it was a type of loss that I hadn't felt before. I've experienced loss in my life. I've lost family members and friends, and this was different. It was like a part of me also died. That I know that might sound dramatic to some people, but for me, it was that way because Katie understood so much of like this cancer part of me, this big part of me that has formed so much of who I am and my life now. And it was like she understood it without me needing to explain it. And so when she was gone, it felt like I lost the person who saw me. I mean, yes, I have my husband, I have my family, and they love me, they see me in different ways, but it's different when you make bonds over something like cancer and you just get each other, and it's like you could talk about anything, and suddenly I didn't have that person, and it was really, really hard. And when I was asked the other day about, grieving an online friend, I wanted to emphasize to who was asking me that it's so difficult when you're grieving somebody who nobody else really in your life knows about. Like, I had mentioned Katie here and there to my family, but they didn't know her like I knew her. They basically knew I had an online friend. She's pretty cool, whatever, whatever. But they don't know them. Like, if there's a loss in your family or something very close, most times it's not just you carrying the grief, or you're able to talk about this person with, remaining family members or friends. But with this, it's like I equate it to like grieving a ghost or like a memory. And one thing I wrote on that post that I did this week was like, it's like you're grieving a memory of someone because the only place that they existed is your phone, is your social media. And when you like log out of the app or you shut your phone off or you set it down, it's like you're left here with these feelings and nobody gets it. And my family is very understanding, thankfully, but I know not everybody else's family is. And a lot of times there's people that are like, hey, why are you so upset about some random person on the internet? You didn't know them. And I think that's really old school way of thinking. Is a lot of times the older generation of people think the internet, you can't make friends on the internet. And honestly, like, we don't always want to make just random friends on the internet. Me being a mother of a kid, I'm definitely going to be like, be wary of strangers on the internet. But this is a little different. Not to say there can't be bad people in every type of community, but I don't know. It's just so different. It's another one of those like cancerous, confusing things. Yeah, so it's just really, there's so many different layers of the grief that you deal with, like losing this friend, losing being understood, losing a safe place to talk about really tough cancer emotions, losing the person that understood you. Nobody gets it. You're just expected to like, why are you so upset about this person? Like, get over it. And then another part of it was a lot of times these people, their families don't know about this part of their life either. They don't really know about their cancer account or their online persona. They don't know about it. And so a lot of times, and it's not the family's fault. I just want to preface this. It's not the family's fault, but it's just another layer of this conversation is like their family doesn't know anything about this community online 9 times out of 10. Or if they do, it's just like the same way that our family knows about this person, like in passing or not really getting it or just feeling like, oh, that's nice. You have some friends online. So the family a lot of times either doesn't tell the community or the friends online that they passed. And like the way they find out is, seeing it on my page when a black screen is requested or somebody saw it in passing and sends it in. I can't tell you how many times people have replied back to those black screens like, hey, I didn't know this person passed. Thank you for telling me. But sometimes these people just literally, your friend just never comes back online and you're left wondering what happened. You can only assume the worst, but you don't really know. And that is really difficult, not knowing like what happened to them. Are they okay? If they did pass, what happened? And so I struggled a lot with that with Katie. I had just really talked to her a couple days before she passed, and I didn't understand what happened. Like, I knew that she was sick, but I didn't know that it was to this extent where I would be losing her. And I have another friend who was close with Katie, and we both were like lost. And I struggled with like, should I reach out to her family and tell them just like how much she meant to me? Should I reach out to them and say anything? I don't know. And I ended up writing an article about losing Katie, and I ended up sending it to, I think it was her brother. And I didn't know if it was the right decision at all. I really didn't. And some of you may not even think it is the right decision. But for me, I had to do something. I had to reach out in some way because I was just so sad about this and just lost in this grief. And so I remember I remember reaching out to the brother and being really scared and kind of just like, hey, if you don't want to hear from me, I totally respect that. Like, just don't even reply. Don't just tell me to go away. And like, I will. But I was really thankful and lucky that her brother and her family wrote back to me and they understood and they treated me like somebody who loved her because I did and I do. And so, oh, I don't want to cry. Okay, hold on. Okay. Um, and so it was nice to be like acknowledged as somebody who did care about her and who loved her. And he told me more about what happened, and I was so grateful for that. And they didn't owe me that at all, you know what I mean? But they took the time to tell me. And then when they had her like little funeral with her niece and nephew, he sent me, pictures of that and how they planted flowers for her. And I was able to share some of that with Katie's other close friend that is my friend too. And for us, seeing just like how she was honored was really like healing in a lot of ways. I didn't think I was going to cry during this, but okay, trying to get myself back together. uh anyway, so that was really kind and helpful and just very nice, but a lot of people don't have that. They don't have this communication. They don't have anything, and that's really hard because basically this person's just ripped out of your life and then that's it. It's like their memory. They don't even exist really, like I want to read one comment that somebody left on the post, and I think it really speaks volumes to this particular feeling. Or is it a feeling or is it just like a phenomenon? I don't know, but I'm going to read it. So this comment reads, "The first resource I ever found for YA anal cancer was Steph. I talked to her for 1.5 years and we shared our deepest fears. When she passed, her family deleted her account and I lost all of our conversations. I miss her all the time. Love you, Steph." As you can see, basically the family, no, not blaming them whatsoever, but the family probably did what a lot of families do, like come around and deactivate accounts and, all of that, just kind of thing that people do after somebody passes. And they didn't really think about the fact that, for some people, like this person, they deleted this person's whole existence from their life. There's no going back to read conversations or none of that. Like their Instagram's gone, they're gone. And that is just so hard. Like you can see that normal grief, you have a process, you have things you can look at, you have maybe voicemails you can listen to, you have pictures you can look back at. But for people who are your friend online, what do you have? You have these conversations most times on a social media app, these conversations that are like literal lifelines and people that you couldn't imagine not speaking to every day. And then something as simple as, their account being deactivated could take this person away from you forever, even more so. Like you don't have anything. You just have like the memory of them and nothing to look back on. So that sort of thing can be so hard. And I, once again, feel very lucky that Katie's family truly gave me a gift of understanding and love and information that a lot of people don't get. Another story along the lines of kind of reaching out to the family or not, I want to just share is that I have another friend who was part of a support group and they met like, once a month or something. Maybe it was like once a week. I don't know. But there was a member of their support group that just stopped coming. And they were like a really long time person coming. And obviously that's scary in this world. That kind of signifies like something happened, something probably really bad happened. And unfortunately it did come out later that they found the obituary of this person. And I know that my friend was really struggling. And so were the other people in the group struggling on just losing this person so suddenly, like we all do. And like, what do? We want to tell their family how much they meant to us, but there's not like a card for this, or there's not like a way, there's no guidebook about this sort of thing. And so my friend asked me, can I make something? And I ended up making a card that kind of says something to the effect of like, I know you don't know me, but we both cared about the same amazing person. And they ended up writing down some memories and some little like fun things that they remembered about this person or they loved or just things that happened in the group. And they ended up typing them out and sending them over to the family with that card. And I wanted to share this because they got a Facebook request from the mom of this person, and the mom said that they were so happy to have this letter, that it touched them, and they didn't think it was weird. They didn't think anything like that. They were very, very kind about it. And when I was thinking through this, do you reach out? Do you not? It's going to be personal to you and personal to the situation. But I kind of thought to myself, like, how much of a gift is it to give a family more memories about this person that they love so much, more information, more sides of them, more things that they can have about this person that's new, when you thought to yourself you're never going to have anything new or new memories of this person. And here they are. Like, here's this whole nother side of them and people who cared about them, and how lovely is it to know that more and more people cared about that person that you love so much. And so I'm of the mindset now that if you feel comfortable with doing it, I don't think it's always going to work out so fabulously. I'm just going to be honest, because that's just the way life goes. But I think that if you're willing to put yourself out there in that way and just like let them know how much they meant to you and how cared about they were by other people, I think that would really be really special and something that you could give to that family. And that's something that you also, without expecting anything back. And that's how I kind of felt when I reached out to Katie's family. Like, I didn't expect it, that they would get back to me. I didn't expect they'd even read it. But I just knew that I needed to tell them like how much she meant to me and how much she meant to other people. I also want to read this other comment, just kind of illustrating to me how formative and how important these connections are that we have with these people. So this person said, I met a woman online who was diagnosed the same day as me. We had the same surgeons, but different cancers. We met in real life 3 times, but talked almost daily. When she passed away in January, she left a huge hole in my life. She was my cancer person, and try as they might, no one will get me the way she got me. I miss you, Rochelle. And I think that is a beautiful reminder and illustration of just how important these people are in our lives. And when people don't get it, it just feels like, how could you not get it? But obviously, there's a lot of stuff that people don't get that exists in this world that isn't understood or doesn't exist outside of here. So, yeah. But I think that is a beautiful just reminder of, like, in this instance, they got to meet in person 3 times, which I think is really beautiful. But I think that same paragraph would have been written even if they hadn't, because I know, like, for me, I have a great, great friend. Her name starts with M, but I won't say her name. But we have never met in person, but I love her to death, and I think she's like so amazing, and like she's a best friend that I like am so blessed to have met through online. And even if I never get to meet her, I don't care. She still means the world to me, and so it's real. It's not. This isn't. I don't know. I feel like sometimes people really downplay online friendships because they like judge you because they've never experienced it. And yeah, I get it. Like I said earlier, like not every online thing is like the best, but with something like cancer or chronic illness or grief or really a lot of different addiction, maybe like all these different places where you're kind of looked at differently in society. I think that happens a lot with cancers, people looking at you with a side eye or a sympathy or whatever. And you're just like, I want to be treated like I'm normal. And the people who are in these spaces who are living that same reality as you or a very similar one, they don't see you as different. They just see you as you. And it can be life-changing when someone really sees you, especially in these sorts of times and spaces and experiences. It's like, oh my God, like, I'm not weird. You get me. You're not judging me. You understand. You feel like this. I feel like this. And yeah, it's just really, really special. We have talked about survivor's guilt in another episode, in the survivorship episode, but I'm just going to touch on it briefly because obviously that's a big question mark or part of kind of the person who requested this topic. how do you navigate it? Because I know survivor's guilt is something that so many of us deal with, and survivor's guilt, especially in the cancer world, especially when you're a young person going through cancer and you see people losing their lives that are, they have their whole freaking life ahead of them and it's just taken by cancer, and you're over here with another chance, or you're living, still, and maybe you're in remission or maybe you're not, but it doesn't really matter because you're still here and they're not. And you feel just guilty about that. And I know for me, like, I'll have really down days where I'm just like, I hate everything. Everything sucks. Like, I'm sad. I don't want to do anything. This isn't fair. And I just like get down on things that have happened. I mean, that's just the reality. And then I'll think to myself, well, you're here still. So why are you acting like this? Katie's not, or so-and-so's not, and you should be grateful. Like, I tell myself those things that I would be like, shut up if somebody else told me that. But I say it to myself, and I think so many of us do. But I really think the reality is that our friends, and I've said this before, our friends who have passed, they wouldn't want me to feel like this. There's no way in a million years that like Katie would be like, yeah, Chelsea, you should be more grateful. You should be happy you're there. You should do this and do that. You should not feel like this. That is not even the truth. But in your head, you just have this nagging, like you should be doing more with this opportunity. The thing is, it's like, when it comes down to it, surviving something like this comes down to, science, luck a lot of times, the type of cancer you're diagnosed with, when do you catch it? It's so many factors that are just outside of anyone's control, really. And we put so much pressure on ourselves to like do something with this second chance at life, or for me it's like the third chance at life. And it's like, I don't want to have all that pressure. I just want to be happy. And I think ultimately that is what those people in our lives who we have lost in this way, or cancer friends, they just want you to be happy. And I can never imagine any of them being like, you know what, be more grateful, be happy. Like, no. They would be the same supportive, funny, amazing friend. And that's one thing I've talked about, in my art, like a lot of ghosts that I draw. I became really drawn to painting and drawing ghosts, especially after I experienced some of these losses, because I felt like the ghosts were friends. They weren't scary. They were just my friends. Like, the other day, this is so random, but the other day, like, our Google thing started talking up in my upstairs, and like nobody was there. And I was like, it's probably Katie. Hey, Katie, what's up? Because I wasn't scared of it, because I know that instead of being something bad, like these memories and these people, they're not bad. They're not anything. Like, the ghosts bring me comfort because they're my friends. And I know that my friends and these ghosts, they will listen to me. They will sit with me in the sadness. They will just be there for me, and they won't expect anything of me, and they won't expect me to get over it, and they don't expect me to be happy all the time. They don't expect any of that. They just want me to be happy. And yeah, I just hope that you remember that as you navigate losing people like this, because that survivor's guilt can eat you alive if you let it. And I have to remind myself, like, everything I talk about on here and these clarity and moments of clarity or whatever I talk about on my page, or I've had many years to think about these things and go through therapy, but I still have days where I'm like, Chelsea, you should really should be just like grateful that you're here and just like be quiet. And so I tell you guys things that I have to often tell myself. I'm not perfect at anything I'm doing. I'm not healed by any means. I'm just doing my best in spite of everything. And that's all we can do, is just take these things one day at a time. And some days will be better than others. And you have to remind yourself to be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and just remember, like I said, that, these people that loved us like this, and that you loved, and that saw you so clearly, see your heart, and they know who you are, and just, yeah, be nicer to yourself. Tell myself that too. Chelsea, be nicer to yourself. Um, okay, so I don't know what else I have to say about this topic. It kind of is a sucky topic, obviously, but it's one that is very important to talk about. It's one that we really need to normalize and make people see that, it's not just an online friend. It's my friend. It is my friend that I lost, and I am allowed to carry grief for them. I love them. I can speak about them. I can, just they can hold this really important place in my life, and nobody can say that it's not valid. So anyway, I hope that this episode, resonated with you. I hope it helps some of you out there. Obviously, like I said, I don't have all the answers, but we're going to figure it out together, and we're in this together. And I am sending you a huge hug, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.